Hey everyone, can you hear me? All right, this is awesome. I am live. Okay, so I just wanted to go live because one, all the cool kids are doing it, and I wanted to figure out how the heck this worked. So I'm really happy I got it right the first time. And then there's just a ton of stuff I want to talk to you guys about. So uh, this is exciting. Okay, so first and foremost, obviously, this season is coming to an end, and I have fully immersed myself in my daily life, and so I'm back at work. I'm obviously back with the family, and I'm getting to kind of get a sense of what the heck is going on in sort of the social uh, echo chamber that is Twitter and Instagram. So it's kind of crazy, just kind of sitting back and getting a sort of first-hand close-up look. Um, and I wanted to, after finally kind of like taking a step back, I wanted to get everybody's questions and being able to kind of like, uh, you know, chat with you guys for a little bit. So obviously, I asked everyone if they had any questions for me, and you guys can go ahead and ask me anything. And if there's nothing that comes in through this live chat, I will go ahead and take the questions that came through on Twitter. So, first of all, thank you guys all for supporting me, and it's been an incredible journey. I can't believe how many of you followed my journey through the years since BB6, some of you, which is absolutely insane. One of the questions I got was, did I think that people still were going to remember me, or did I think I was going to have this kind of following? Uh, Absolutely not. That it would be crazy to think such a thing. Like, why? It's been 15 years. Why would I think that anyone was going to come back and say all these nice things, and I would have such a following? So it's kind of insane, actually, if you think about it. Some of you who have been following me were like just little kids, and now you're like full-fledged adults. So it's so crazy. So I just cannot be more grateful and flattered that that's like what happened. So some of the things I wanted to kind of talk to you about, obviously, is like, hey, I just started this YouTube vlog after I left, not because I'm looking to be like Instagram and YouTube famous, but I was so excited to come off the show and have this platform like that. I thought like I obviously had lost because so much time had passed, and so I'm like, you know what, this is actually really cool because I get to get a second chance at something that I've always wanted to do, which is be able to talk about important issues. Now I know like people's you know attention span to like really heavy topics is probably really low given like all the things that are going on in the world, like between COVID and social issues and economic issues. Everybody's like probably thinking, news is already always so negative and heavy, like we don't want to have to listen to one more person talk about how like horrible things are and how we need to do better. So I was like, you know what if we actually came up with a way to be informative and entertaining. And so that's kind of really what I'm focused on. Like, I'm hoping that we can do that. But what's cool is I really wanted to focus on how we talk to each other, like the engagement. How do we make it positive and productive? And so that's kind of where I wanted to go with the first thing, which is, I saw some chatter, like it's like not that much, a little bit of chatter over the course of the last couple of weeks about how, and obviously I want to just keep this positive. So about how like, I'm a hypocrite and I'm not a good person and I'm a fraud because I'm not like putting Janelle down and putting her in her place, or how could I be friends with her and all that kind of stuff. And so I want to just address this real quick. When this came up, like, obviously when I was in the house, I did tell Janelle, I'm like, yo, I think we should just cool it. Like, I get that you have beef with Nicole and you guys have like your thing. I asked her to explain it to me because I have no idea. I hadn't watched the show Amazing Race. I didn't know what the heck the context was. But it kind of like, dawned on me like this was sort of a personal beef between two people, not like a big social issue that I think we needed to tackle, similar to the one that I think that Davon and I had conversations about, or the ones that involved autism. I think those were broader issues. And I never actually singled any one person out and said, hey, this person is a bad person. I wanted to kind of just make it all about like, hey, we could do better as a group of people. Now, when it comes to like personal matters between two people, Nicole and Janelle, I had private conversations with Janelle, and I just said, listen, and I have no control over Janelle. She's a grown adult, I just said, there are probably better ways to resolve issues, and maybe some of it's like, hey, it's funny, whatever, but at the expense of somebody else. And I think like at a certain point we can probably discuss gameplay and say, hey, I don't like her tactics, or I can't trust her, or she's not a good person. She's like, she turned her back on, other people, and so we don't want to go ahead and trust her anymore. That's probably fine. But like I was like, we can do better as far as like not publicly going after somebody in a personal way. And it was a very short conversation, and she agreed. And she's like, you know what, you're right. There's a lot of people that are looking at us. We're much older now, and they look up to us and stuff like that. And you're right. And that was it. And so when it comes to dealing with broader social issues, I think I do want to take them publicly head on. And when it comes to like personal matters where I think we can do a better job, I had private conversations with Janelle to tell her we could do better. And I think it worked and it helped. And, at the end of the day, here's the thing. You can't please everybody. And you're going to find that I am going to be friends with people who are not perfect. Because you know what? I'm not perfect. And you'll find it very hard time to find people who are perfect out there. So I think if you're looking for that perfect person that you're going to befriend, you're going to be living a very lonely life. That's all I have to say about that. So I have no problem with Nicole. In fact, a lot of these people have said things about me in the house. I don't care. I don't have a problem with any of them. I have much bigger fish to fry. I'm trying to do much bigger things. And so for those reasons, I don't really get into the weeds about any of this stuff. The only reason I'm addressing it is because I find it fascinating, actually. When I'm looking at Twitter, I'm like thinking about like how people are trying to create like momentum to try to cancel somebody, call me a bully or bully sympathizer. It's interesting, and like how dare I even talk about bullying in my story. It's kind of it's kind of crazy and absurd, actually. I don't understand it, but needless to say, it's not going to stop me, because I believe in a much bigger cause, and I think we should be all doing better and being more productive. So that's the important thing. Now, let's talk about some of the things that you guys want to know. So, will I be going back on Big Brother ever if I was asked? No. I just can't see myself doing it again. It's just not something I can do. I honestly, I feel like I came back because I wanted to, I came back for a greater purpose. Obviously, I love the game. I wanted to show that I'm a very strategic player. It's interesting because it's easy to say, hey, you know what? He's not a good social player, or he's not good at the game. It's easy to say that when you're singled out and put on the block every single time. I have no way of hiding behind anyone or anything, and so that's just there's nothing I can do. It's not like I went out there and put a big target on my back. There was nowhere for me to go. So I just don't see it happening again. It's just not at this stage of my life. So that's that. And honestly, it's interesting the dynamic that takes place with a season that is an all-star cast. Production has to do a lot of work to prevent people from talking to each other and spoiling the game. And so it's really hard to actually get these sorts of things to work out for them. And so I know there's a lot of controversy and people saying, they could have done a better job. It's really difficult. So I don't know if production even wants to do another All-Star season to make this happen again. So it doesn't even I don't think even matters. So let's take some questions. What do you guys want to talk about? Someone wants a shout out. Mark wants a shout out. Okay. All right, Mark. You got it. Shout out to Mark. Cool. And the thing is, it's interesting. Like I actually don't understand why everybody's so aggressive online. I get the passion and I appreciate that. I think everybody's like really passionate on taking positions, but sometimes I think we get a little carried away with our love or hate for something. Someone asked me about my experience with autism. Yeah, so I've never been actually formally diagnosed, but I did a lot of reading up on it and I realized that I experienced a lot of the symptoms and traits of someone who's on the spectrum. And after I ended up realizing that I started to kind of try to unpack some of what it means to be like that and how it's affected my life. I'm highly adapted when it comes to all of the things that come along with like the downsides of autism. And so what's happened over the years, it's like actually helped me be better, be more empathetic, and be more understanding of the world that's around me. Now, I'm not perfect. I still have some issues with it, but it's been a lot easier. And I think for those of you who don't understand how autism works, essentially everything is super loud, meaning like your brain gets scrambled. And it's not perfect science. So like, this is just what I know, and I'm not a doctor, but basically imagine an average person has a certain amount of inputs that come into their brain, and so you kind of see things and you hear things and you feel things, and there's a certain number of those things and I'm simplifying, there's a certain number of those inputs that are happening. For people who are on the spectrum, they're amplified and there's a lot more of those things. And so what ends up happening is like you get like all scrambled up and you can't focus and it becomes really hard. And so what you saw with like Ian, for instance, during the season, he has to soothe himself and cope, and that way he's able to actually comfort himself because of all the sensory stressors that are created from being a really stressful environment. And that's kind of that's the challenge with autism. And I think he experienced a really hard time. I didn't really, because I'm more like highly adapted and I'm able to understand how that worked and how it affects my brain and myself. Have I ever been contacted from Elon Musk? No, I love Elon Musk, but he never reached out to me. Did I feel bad for people being mean to Ian? Look, I'll tell you, I think some of the things that I think we need to tackle within society are much bigger than the individuals. And it's not to like diminish the importance of how people treat each other, whether it's Ian or other people in the house, right? I think what we need to do a better job of is go and take a look at a broader picture of like how do we become better people within society. And that's kind of where I'm really focused on right now. Like, I think it's important for us to take a look at the situation with Ian, and and most people will look at that and be like, it wasn't a big deal, and I was, I didn't mean anything personal against Ian. It was just like I was just trying to be funny, or make jokes and conversation, but I didn't really want to hurt him. The problem is we don't realize oftentimes, that we don't realize what we're doing. And I think what Big Brother does is it puts everyone under the microscope. And if you take a look at the way people are acting, I feel like every one of us has made that mistake at one point in our time, one point in time in our lives, and we could take a look at that and say, oh my God, I think I've been that person, and I've acted horribly towards somebody that way, whether it's an exact replica of what happened or something similar. So I think we can always kind of reflect and maybe learn from those situations. James Ryan live. Yeah, I'm gonna go live with James Ryan tomorrow, actually. What was your alliance name? My alliance name was the Continental, because it was a name from John Wick, where the name of the assassins group was called the Continental, I think, and it was like really badass. Cody's gameplay, I think, look, Cody is he's really has a good social game, and he also obviously is an incredible competitor when it comes to winning competitions. He's very physically fit, and that helped him obviously immensely. So from that standpoint, he really played a good game. I think there's speculation about pre-gaming and how there was a big block that was secured. Whether you believe that or not, it's up to you. I think that diminishes and puts a stain on his record. If that is true, I'll leave that to everyone to decide. Do I talk to anyone from BB6 still? Yes, obviously I speak to James. I talk to Howie. And I'm open to talking to anyone else. I think I have no problem with anyone. Oh yeah, so I was going to schedule a live with Howie Gordon. I think that's something that definitely should be top priority. He is, I want him to call me from the anchor desk at the studio he works at. When's my next vlog with Demi? Actually, it was just taped. I did a vlog with Demi Burnett this past Sunday, and we were actually out in LA, and and the topic was cancel culture. It was very fitting and timely. So Demi and I talked about what it means to be canceled and what it feels like and what kind of the drama that goes on behind the scenes. At the end of the day, these are still people. They made mistakes, and people are getting canceled all the time. So, we're going to talk about that. Obviously she's has a certain projected personality on TV, and people have her their perceptions of her and stuff like that. So we'll be getting into that during that vlog. Let's see what else. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of questions really going. Oh my God. When am I moving to Minnesota? I don't know. You know what? After seeing Janelle's latest, I think she had like a post or a story on Instagram where everything was just snowed in. I can't tell you when the heck I'm going to move to Minnesota because it seems like such a bad idea. It's like you can't even walk anywhere. It's just freezing all the time. Do you know what I do here in California? We go on bike rides because it's like a beautiful, like it's between 75 to 90 degrees every day. It's October. Would I play Survivor? Maybe. Look. It's tempting. I think that's really cool. I think maybe Survivor, maybe Amazing Race. I think that would really be cool. I would love to kind of see how that goes. It's interesting. It's different. You know, it helps me kind of like. I might do it because it's just different. Look, I've talked to Janelle about the Amazing Race. She keeps saying no, so maybe you guys can convince her. How is my relationship with Michael? You know, I'm fine with Michael. Michael's good. I haven't seen him in a while because he's been traveling around the world. And he actually lives in Spain right now. One of the questions came through that, you know, they were asking who really applied for the show. Was it Michael or myself? I never applied for the show. I've never sent in an audition tape. I would never actually try to get on this show. I hadn't really watched the show that much when I was first approached. Michael sent in multiple auditions tapes, and he finally got a call. And through random circumstances, I ended up as his partner. So it was pretty serendipitous, random. I am not planning on making a podcast. I do have a vlog on this YouTube channel, and I am going to be talking about cool things, really important issues. And what was interesting is I'm going to be inviting guests to help me understand, issues and things that I think most of us need to tackle in life. So I'm open to all sorts of topics. We've talked about cancel culture. 2 weeks ago, I went out and I distributed. We started through an organization I'm a part of. I'm going to be giving out several $1 million worth of masks to the underprivileged, underserved communities, starting with the homeless population. So that's where we're at right now. So that's going to be one of the episodes of the vlog. We've already finished that one, and then the other one is with Demi and cancel culture. So I'm going to continue giving back to the community. This is what's amazing about this platform. I want to continue to serve the communities that need us the most. So what you don't know yet, because the vlog hasn't come out, is that I'm giving away enough masks to serve the entire homeless population of Los Angeles County. And as of recently, we just are giving away enough masks to service the entire homeless population of San Diego County as well. So the vlogs are uploaded weekly. Yeah, so right now we're on like a once a week vlog, and we might not upload this week, but I think next week we'll get to the next vlog because it takes a little bit of time to get everything done. Oh man, there's so much drama around America's favorite player. Like I didn't realize everybody's so passionate about who they want to win, and like some people got offended if you like endorse certain people. Look, I'll support whoever you guys want. If you guys believe that there's a certain person that should get America's favorite player, then I'm all for it, because ultimately this is, you guys are America, you're voting, and you're gonna make it happen. So I personally just want anyone who I would love to see have a better life. I know that I think Davon is an incredible person. She's a personal favorite of mine. I think she's an incredible human being. I would love to see her get it. Um, I know Janelle said that she would love to, get that money and donate it to charity. That's something that's important to her, and I think she's been very charitable herself. So that's really nice to kind of see that go to a certain cause. And so those are things that I think are awesome, and that's what I know right now. So I would love to see any of these incredible, strong women win. Okay, what else? What other question? So, wow, these questions go so fast. You have to like try to catch them. Everybody keeps asking me about the bunny. I don't have a bunny yet. I'm sorry. I, I've been seeing these gray, beautiful bunnies ever since Janelle told me about these bunnies, and now I saw a picture of hers. It's such a nice bunny that like I want one. And the thing is, I'm so busy. I don't know if I can actually help take care of this little cute creature. So I don't know if this is a good idea. And so that's why I've been kind of holding off and holding back on the whole thing. So no bunny yet. Um, Whoa, it's so fast. Okay, sorry. What's really what's what's my relationship with Nicole Anthony? I don't have a problem with Nicole Anthony. I think she had a lapse of judgment, made some bad moves in the game. I think she obviously went after the wrong people, and then she had a complete meltdown. So, do I hold that against her? I'll tell you, knowing how it is going into the house 3 times now and how hard it is, I cannot hold it against people when they have a tough time in that house. It is incredibly challenging. Okay, so what else? Wow, I can't. Let's see. Okay. What are my thoughts on Keisha? Keisha's really sweet, actually. It's interesting because like seeing clips of Keisha because I didn't watch the season after and seeing how she kind of was very explosive and going off on everyone and how like she was known for that, but like was really sweet to me was such a shocker when I got out of the house. And Keisha and I, we got a chance to catch up afterwards, and obviously we went to brunch, and then we got to chat, and we had such a great time. So I'm really happy I got to meet her. Um, and so like I think Keisha's amazing. Okay, so everybody keeps asking me about this lentil soup recipe. I had no idea while I was cooking in the house that anyone was paying attention. So, okay, the food turned out really good. So I have a number of dishes that I was cooking for the house guests because honestly, I was just trying to be nice, and I realized like a lot of these house guests didn't know how to cook for themselves. So I figured, why the heck not? And I think a lot of the food that was being cooked in the house was a little predictable, and um, no one had really experienced a lot of the food that comes from the Middle East. And so I decided to expose people to like this flavor profile that maybe they had never had before. So I started cooking all these Iraqi dishes in the house, and like lentil soup, and like there's the stew with meat and potatoes. And so we've shared those recipes online, but I think I might not. I just need to do like a YouTube or Instagram live where I'm actually just cooking this stuff and then posting the recipe and showing you guys how it's done. The lentil recipe has 2 ways that I cooked it. I cooked it in a way where it was the easy way, which is like there was these Trader Joe cans of lentils, and then I had some like this vegetable broth that I used and created because I wanted to make sure it was completely vegetarian, so that my house guest friends could partake and enjoy. And then And then there was this other version where I like actually took loose, dry lentils and I had to cook them for a long time to make sure like they were perfect. And then I made that another day. Both of them turned out amazing. But if you guys want me to have a Cooking with Kaser live episode where we all cook together, then that's what we have to do. So say no more. How do we change the platform of BB to make it a better game? I don't know. It's like I think here's the trouble with BB. BB's been around for such a long time that I think people start to adjust their gameplay. I think the beauty of having like Big Brother is like when you see people for the first time, you get to know them, they're brand new, and you watch them grow and change on national television. I think that's part of the fun. I think unless they make a fundamental change to the way that All Stars works and keeps people neutral and not conspiring already behind the scenes with before the show, I don't know if All Stars could work anymore. So I think that there needs to be a little bit of refresh, perhaps. I don't know. Do I think I'm going to be friends with Memphis? I don't have a problem with anybody. I will have some sort of relationship with whoever wants to have one. Um, and I'm okay. I try to keep it cool with anybody in the house. So, do I miss Arnold Shapiro? For those of you who don't know, Arnold Shapiro he used to be one of the producers on the show. He is an incredibly genuine and nice human being. And I love Arnold Shapiro from way back in the day, season 6. He actually has done some incredible work. I mean, he's done other shows around the prison system, for instance, and called Scare Straight. He was really known for that as well. So I really love Arnold Shapiro because he really went out on a limb when other house guests on Big Brother 6 were saying all sorts of nasty things about me and my faith and my background, and he really came out and said, "Hey, you know what? We don't stand for this." So, I've actually held a really good relationship with him ever since, and he's an incredible human being. He's an incredible person. Have Dr. Will and I talked since BB22? No, we have not. Well, he sent me a message and said, "Nice try, good game. You guys didn't have stand a chance because of the way it was set up," and that was the extent of that. Do we have any good Dr. Will stories? I don't know, actually. I think Dr. Will's very particular about his image, so I'm just gonna not say anything about that. I think the only thing I could probably share is Dr. Will and I somehow ended up in the same industry. I mean, obviously he's been in the industry, and so I found myself in the biomedical space, not my space. I'm a tech guy, and all of a sudden I'm here, and he and his colleagues who run their business actually came in for a meeting in our boardroom, and so I saw Dr. Will in a board meeting or in a meeting in our boardroom many years after we played together. So it was super random and really cool and interesting how that came together. And so that was great. Where did I go to college? I went to college in California, at the University of California, Irvine, where I studied. I went into, I got accepted into the university as a pre-med student into the biological sciences program. major or whatever. And so then I thought I was going to become a doctor, and I realized I wanted to do much bigger things because I was like, I'm not going to spend my entire life in med school and trying to be a doctor, and I don't know if I want to see like blood and that sort of thing all the time. So I work in the hospital, and it's not my thing. So then I decided, you know what? I gotta do something bigger. I want to be a computer nerd. I was going to come up with something that is going to revolutionize the world. And so I took some computer science classes. I didn't really like programming per se. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take business economics. I'm going to figure it out myself. So I, um, I ended up graduating with a degree in economics. And then I still kept my love for computers, really close. And what I did after I got out was I actually got into design because that was my way, that was my outlet to feel like I was creating something. That's what I loved the most. So I taught myself graphic design through Photoshop. And so I was designing flyers and banner ads and all sorts of things like business cards and all that kind of stuff. And then one day I realized where I was going to make the most impact and the most money was really on the design of technology. And that was called user experience and interface design. So I switched courses quickly and I said, okay, I'm going to teach myself what it means to be an interface designer, and I would design websites and I would design applications. So then I got a gig as a consultant in that space, and I started working on projects for Disney and Microsoft and all sorts of big companies, and that was really awesome. Uh, 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 uh. What are my thoughts on Evil Dick? I'm assuming it was about the comments that he made using the N word. I think everybody knows what my position is on using these types of words. I think there's no place for them. I don't need to explain that. If anyone doesn't know where I stand on those types of things, you don't know me very well, or you haven't really watched very closely. Um, I saw some comments about like, well, he was explaining something, and thus he was, hoping that nobody was going to use the N word again. Here's the thing: don't use the N word. Don't use it because of so many reasons. Don't use it to explain the N word. Don't use it to talk about how other people shouldn't use it. Just don't use it. And I think people should have a little bit more understanding and empathy and uh, just a little more wisdom than to know that just to not to do those types of things. And so it's a disappointment. I think a lot of people get carried away because they want to be edgy online, um, and they lose their way and they lose themselves. And it's just not a good look. Let's see. Whoa. How did I come up with the name Sovereign Six? I like that question. Thanks for asking it. Um, Actually, the name Sovereign Six came from a very deep belief of mine, and it comes from a belief around the way that we experience power structures. And so what I noticed around what was happening in Big Brother 6 was everybody was like kissing the ring and wanting to give their allegiance to a certain person. Oh, please lead us to the promised land. And they wanted to put their entire faith in one person. And it was like I was watching a group of people give up their power and give up who they were so they could be protected by somebody else that they had just met for like a number of days. And in this, what stands true about the dynamic within the Big Brother house was so interesting. It's still the case to this day that whoever gets power, you get to, two things happen. You see how the person who has power starts to treat other people. They could either be very gracious or they can turn into assholes. And then the second thing is you start to see how people who respond to power start to act. So you see a shift in the way that they behave. Sometimes they don't even see the way that they're acting, and they don't even realize it. And so I think part of the reason why I was very threatening is because oftentimes I don't really respond to power the same way others do, and I don't really care. And so people in power often find me to be very threatening. So, with that being said, the reason why I came up with the idea or the name of Sovereign 6 was when I brought people together, there were 6 of us, obviously, that's the easy part. And I told every single person who was in the alliance, you are your own person. And the word sovereign means to be free as an individual. And so I wanted everyone to know that we together, although I'm HOH and I'm bringing people together, you will make your own decisions. You are your own person. And I want everyone to feel like you're part of this group because it benefits you. And that was it. Do I think of myself as a religious person? Yes, I do. I am a religious person. I have strong faith. And I think faith, if used properly, and religion, if used properly, gives us a deeper sense of perspective. It helps us do better things. And it's not just about doing right and wrong. It's about creating depth and understanding so that we are not one-dimensional. Let's see, what else? Howie, yes, am I close with Howie? Howie will randomly, so Howie, funny story about Howie. Howie doesn't like to use regular phone calls. He actually wants to FaceTime you all the time. And so, like, you don't know if you're ready to take a FaceTime call with video, and Howie will call, and he'll just like, if you're answering, for me at least, he'll just go, "What up, Kaser?" And then he'll like do his thing, and he's really funny about that. And actually, interesting story about, do you guys know where the whole "What up, Kaser" came from? It's actually a play off of 50 Cent's song "What Up, Gangster." And so he like came up with some horrible rendition, this version of it, where then he'll say everybody's name, and then the last one, instead of "What up, gangster," he says "What up, Kaser," and it's hilarious. And that nobody knows that's where it came from. "What up, Kaser" is 50 Cent's "What Up, Gangster" song. It's pretty funny. It's really hilarious, and actually, I don't think anyone, nobody ever knew that. Where did the FBI hat come from? The FBI hat came from good old Jedi Howie. Once again, he comes up with all sorts of things. So Howie brought this hat in, and it, he brought an FBI hat in. Why? Because to him, to him, it stood for female body inspector. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. So I didn't know. I was like, okay, whatever, Howie, if you say so. But I didn't have a hat, and so obviously, in the house, you basically you're just swapping clothes, and he took my Department of Redundancy Department T-shirt. I ended up taking his hat and wearing it. And then I wore it so much it became iconic because when I won my first HOH, I was wearing it. When I was doing my DRs, I was wearing it. And so that became synonymous with um, my persona. Part of the reason why I wore the FBI hat too was because during BB6, it was also the time where there was an Iraq war, or the American and Iraq war was taking place. And so what was happening during that time was the FBI was actually going door to door to people within the Iraqi community, asking them if they had any ties to Saddam Hussein, what they felt about America, and it was like really scary. Um, I felt like I needed to wear that hat because it was a way to show the world I'm Iraqi and I've got nothing to hide and I'm not any different. And making that connection between the two things, it was like, I'm not the enemy, and I think it was interesting. I don't know if that message came through, but it really made for a fun connection of like, hey, I got to be known for that hat, and it was interesting. What other question? Wow, I cannot believe 46 minutes have gone by already. Okay. Um, oh, this is an interesting non-game related question. It's a good question. What advice can I give for dealing with uncertainty and anxiety? Okay, so here's what I do. I think there are two buckets. There's the things that you can control, and that there's the things that you cannot control. And so what I do, and this helps me a little bit, is I try to organize my life. So and this is kind of weird and crazy, but I try to make sure that my surroundings are in the best orders possible. So I try to make sure my you know room is clean, and my desk is in order, and my kitchen is clean, and the sink is all the dishes are done, and um, so that allows me to kind of have peace of mind. So that's easy. That's put that kind of like checkbox, it's done. Then there are things that I have to just understand are completely out of my control. Now, those are the things I just have to say, you know what, things are going to go from a state of order to disorder. It's going to happen, and I have to be okay with it. Just be prepared for that. Now, part of what I try to do is have a positive outlook and tell myself, I'm going to just get through this. I'm going to just, there's always a reason, and it's always going to get better, and there's some bigger purpose for why this is happening. The idea is there are forks in the road all the time. You can choose whether or not you can learn from it. And I try to learn from every situation and turn that random situation into a positive. And that's it. That's the oversimplified version of how I deal with anxiety. Part of it's also my faith in God. I just tell myself, like, there's a bigger reason of how and why this stuff, happens, and why it works the way it works. Did you know, what was this one? Did I know that I sealed your partner's fate would become so iconic? No, I didn't. Before I went on the show of Big Brother 6, I didn't even know how often it aired and if anyone was watching and if anyone cared. And I thought I was going to embarrass myself. Everything you saw and how I acted was genuine. Like even some of my friends asked me if like I rehearsed some line that I was going to say in that moment. Um, no, I didn't rehearse any of this, but it came out perfectly. I I hatched a big plan that week, and I knew that I was going to really stick it to that side for the way that they made us feel and the way that they were acting. And I wanted to make sure that they knew that I was not one to be messed with. How did Janelle and I become a duo in BB6? Well, it was out of necessity. Her partner was evicted. My partner was about to be evicted. And I turned to her and I said, I think you're a lot smarter than you make yourself out to be. And she started laughing. And we got along really well, as you could see. And I adore her. She's a fascinating, unique individual. Um, she approaches life very, very differently. I was soft spoken. I try to be nice to everyone. I care about people's feelings. And sometimes, she's the type of person who not soft spoken and doesn't always care about what people think and their feelings. And so it was so different, right? Um, and it was interesting because like you'll see in BB6 even like I have to like go find her, try to make sure she doesn't fight with anyone and tell her, hey, you probably shouldn't talk to people that way. And so it was really interesting, but we are such a close pair. I think you have to understand like it's actually a lesson in life, right? I think I try to find the good in people and really focus on those things and I think we can do that. I think in society we have to be we have to sort of be very generous in the way that we see people and not be cynical. Oftentimes I see online like people will see one thing and they're like, oh, I knew it, they're a horrible person, and they're quick to call them names and to cut them down. um, Look, is Janelle perfect? No, but she's my friend, and that's the reason why like I talk to her behind closed doors and say, I think we can be better at doing X, Y, and Z. That's what friends do, and I think we should be able to do that for everyone. Where did I get the name King Kaser? You know what? I would say, without a doubt, the first season people started saying King was probably season 6. That was 15 years ago. I had never heard anyone say that to anybody. But the thing is, my name, Kaiser, Czar, Caesar, it all stems from the root, the same Latin meaning of emperor or king or ruler. It's in my name. All right. What? Why did I wait till eviction night to whip out the hat? I actually was gonna wear it as soon as I won my first HOH, and it never happened. So there was nothing I could do about it. So I had to wear it on the last day. What did it do? Do I speak any other language? I speak Arabic. Let's see, what else? Why don't I tell you my chess rating? I don't know what my chess rating is. I've never been rated, so I don't even know what that means. Pre-game situation, what are my thoughts? No comment. How's Janelle at chess? She tries to she's actually pretty good. I think she gets frustrated when I beat her, but she won't admit to that. We haven't played in a long time, so I can't remember how good she is anymore. Let's see. This production cheat in the diary room and help certain others. Look, I think there's a certain level of integrity that these people have on the production side. I know everybody has like their feelings about what production does and says, and it's like it can get really nasty online. I've noticed there's a lot of conspiracy theories. I actually can tell you they are the nicest group of people, and they take their jobs very seriously. And there are a lot of checks and balances to make sure the integrity of the show is kept intact, because it could be a problem if they don't. Plans for next year. You'll see. There's always a plan. I'm always planning. You're just gonna have to follow my vlog and see what I'm up to. Okay. Do I get recognized in public often? Yes. I guess I have a pretty distinct look. Do Dancing with the Stars. Have you seen how I dance? It's horrible. Bailey tried to teach me how to dance. Bailey and Davon tried to teach me how to dance in the bathroom, and it was embarrassing. You like David? Yeah, I don't have a problem with David. I think David's a nice guy, and I like nice people. Can I say one nice thing about each house guest? Okay, I think that's a good exercise. All right. I think Janelle is sassy, smart, and an amazing person who has a lot of great things about her below the surface that she doesn't show everyone, and I like that in people, because there's like, you always feel like there's more to come. So I said a lot about Janelle because I know her the most. Nicole, I think Nicole does have a sweet nature to her. I think a lot of people say that, you know, she's lost some of it since she was first on the show. You know, when she was first on the show, I was like, you know, this is a very sweet individual. I think that was kind of what the appeal was. So I still think that she's still there. She still has some of that. Whether you like her or not, you know, and I'm talking about Nicole F. Nicole A, I think also very sweet. I think she is a nice person, Nicole A. And let's see what else. Cody is a great conversationalist. He says a lot of stuff within a very short period of time. That is impressive. I don't have that quality where I can just like talk about random things all the time. I can only talk about certain things. Enzo is extremely entertaining and hilarious. And Memphis, I respect his business sense and acumen. Christmas is she seems very passionate about what she's doing and what she likes to do. I really respected her passion about working out and her craft. So that was something I always respect in people. Let's see. What about who else? Who am I missing? Kevin's he's sensitive, so I guess that's a good thing. Danny is a strong woman. She wants to be strong. She seems strong. I don't know too much about her, to be honest. Tyler, I think Tyler is, I find what struck me with Tyler, and I could be off because I only know him for a certain amount of time. He seems a very sweet and genuine, and I like that about him. Um, Ian actually is just a nice guy. I liked Ian so much because what you see with Ian seemed like it was what you got, and I think that was really awesome. I loved that about him. Um, and that was like I think why I love just hanging out with Ian. Like you felt like you're just like I just hate, like I don't need to worry about like all the drama and like the mess with him. Um, Keisha, Keisha is she was a sweetheart. She you can tell like she was gonna be like feisty, but that never came out. So I never got to see that side. But she was like a sweetheart, and I can tell like I heard such great things about how she was a great game player. So I was hoping to get to see that. Bailey and Davon, they were Black Girl Magic. So awesome to be like. It was so fun to hang around them. They were fun. They were entertaining. They were so dynamic. Like there was never a dull moment with them. Um, I was kind of like honestly really fascinated just to sit back and kind of take in everything that they were teaching me. Um, and so I liked that a lot. Who else am I missing here? Um, who's left? Did I miss anyone? Oh, David. I think David's a nice guy. David, I think, um, I liked his sense of self-esteem. He always like promoted himself, which was, I think, a good thing for the most part. All right, what other questions do you guys have? Because we're going to over an hour. Um, how do I not take things so personally? Uh, honestly, it's because you have to be empathetic. So when somebody says something or does something to me, you have to understand, like, I've experienced throughout my entire life um, bullying, name calling, people being mean to me, being left out. All sorts of things have happened. And so I've seen it all, I've experienced it all, I've felt it all. And so it's no, it's not something that it's like that's foreign to me. So if it happens today and in this day and age, in this part of my life, it's like not a big deal. So once you've been through it and you've learned how to cope, it all kind of just rolls off your back. That's part one. Part two, I always think about the bigger picture, and then that allows me to kind of rise above what's happening today. Meaning, if someone is trying to talk to me about something that I feel like I don't want to be dragged into, I just think about how this is not worth it and how I have much bigger goals. I have goals to do incredible things in society. I have business goals. I have family goals. I have personal growth goals. I don't really care to get involved in the little things, to be honest. There's life's short. There's so much we have to do, and we don't have time for that. All right, one more question, and then we're gonna wrap. So make it good. Um, who do I stand? Elon Musk, because he is a business powerhouse who's not afraid of shaking things up and rocking the boat to make society a better place. Um, let's see. What else? What else? How do I deal with toxic work culture? Inspire people to become better. If you don't like the work that you're doing or the culture you're in and you don't have a say, leave, because you're worth way more. Your life was worth way more. It's not. It's not. If it's not a good place to be, then don't stay there. Go somewhere else. Um, Reevaluate Elon Musk. Everybody hates somebody for some reason, I should say. Look, no one's perfect unless someone is an absolute horrible person, um, who is like, a pedophile, or just like is perpetuating racism, and is a leader on some, like, national stage, who's like a horrible person. Then I could say, okay, you know what, I don't like this person. And there are people who I don't like. Okay. Okay, like literally the last question. Okay. Um, okay, come on, give me a good question. Oh man. How is Thugonomics 101? I have not received my first course. Davon still owes me a course in Thugonomics, so I'm going to ask for that when she gets out. I've never been in contact with Yvette. Have I met Dan? I have not. Make a TikTok? I did. I made a TikTok this past weekend. It has 3 posts, and I still need to put more posts up, but you guys need to tell me what you want to see on my TikTok. Do I want more kids? I love kids. Sure. Okay, like literally the last question. I promise you this. Okay. Skincare routine. Ask Janelle. She has a much better skincare routine. But what I do know is lots of sunblock, hyaluronic acid, and retinol. I'll give you that. Oh, vitamin C. That's it. Okay, we're done. Cool. Thanks for joining tonight. This was awesome. Maybe we'll do this again, but we'll definitely do something around cooking, because everybody keeps asking me about this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been an awesome time. I hope no one was offended about anything. I love everyone. And let's just all try to be better people, please. Stop fighting online. It's not worth it. Let's get together and do better things. Do you see what's going on in this world? Everybody has lost their damn mind. Let's not add to the problem. Thank you. Have a good night.